So I have a few tips to help you land entry-level project manager positions that I haven't shared with you yet. These tips are going to make it easier in your job search process and are going to have a dramatic impact before you start applying. As we get into this video, join me down below in the comment section. What has been one struggle that you've been experiencing with landing your next job opportunity? Leave me a comment down below so we can connect and cheer each other on with our community. So to set you up for success, we need to level the playing field right here and define what an entry-level project manager is and what the responsibilities are. I want you to put on your thinking cap on for just one moment. Imagine a project manager as the conductor of a symphony. They're the leader who keeps the musicians in time so that the music moves at a very steady pace, beat after beat. If you're an entry-level project manager, you're not going to be assigned these super complex or extremely large projects. You're probably going to start off small, and then gradually, as you gain more experience under your belt, your responsibilities will also increase as your manager starts to trust you more. If you haven't heard my story before and we're meeting for the very first time, hi there, my name's Alvin. And just like you, I wanted to break into a career in project management. You see, I was working as an engineer before, but I never thought in the wildest dream that I had that it would be possible for me to actually land a job as a project manager. It felt like a chicken or the egg situation. To get a job as a project manager, I thought that I needed to already have experience working as a project manager. It's this weird infinite loop that keeps repeating. Am I right? So in the back of my mind, I thought, I'm not qualified and I'm just not good enough. I didn't have the quote unquote experience to actually get the job. It felt like it would be an impossible career move for me to make. Would it be a boost in my career? 100%. Absolutely, I thought it would. Going from a senior engineering role to now a project manager role, but I didn't know how to do it. Does any of this resonate with you? And have you ever felt like this before? If you have, drop me a comment below and share with me your thoughts or your experiences because I would love to know if you also felt the same way. So here's what happened next. The game changed for me when I had an epiphany one night. It was after dinner at 8 p.m. and I was sitting in my 600 square foot apartment working at my desk from Home Depot. I remember staring at my computer screen after I had searched for dozens of entry-level project manager roles. And what I found out will completely shock you. I noticed a trend here. All these companies wanted someone who had project management experience. Makes sense, right? But none of the requirements for these entry-level roles said you must have worked as a project manager before. No, absolutely not. These entry-level job postings that I was looking at, not once did they mention that you needed to have worked previously in a job title as a formal project manager. It was in that moment when I was in my apartment sitting at my desk that all these self-limiting beliefs that I had, it got knocked down like a bunch of dominoes. I realized that I already had project management skills from my past experience as an engineer. Sure, I never had a formal job title as a project manager, but I absolutely had experience leading projects in the past. If you can show to companies that you've led projects before and that you've actually accomplished results, then you're going to be one step closer to landing that interview and getting that job offer that you want. By the way, if you're getting value out of this video, make sure to smash that like button because it inspires me to keep creating high quality content just like this. All right, so all of this leads us to our next tip. You need to gain experience leading projects for your company. As an engineer, I was doing a lot of reviewing designs, analysis, and testing for new products and operations. So I'd actually led projects that were part of a much bigger initiative for the company that I worked at. I just needed to repackage my resume so it matched what they were looking for. Let me repeat that one more time because this is very important for you to remember. I had to repackage my resume. It's kind of like rewrapping a Christmas present, right? Instead of using some boring brown wrapping paper, you swap it. And you use bright red and bright green Christmas wrapping paper so that the person who's receiving it gets excited because of the way the gift is packaged. Similarly, if we package our resume in the right way, then we can hook the hiring manager and the recruiters and get them extremely excited about us. We want the recruiter and the hiring manager to say, heck yeah, I want to interview this person right now. He seems like a great fit. And if we do that, we'll increase the odds of us landing that phone interview. Now you might be asking, how exactly am I supposed to get experience managing projects? Here's my advice to you based on my personal experience. Be proactive in your current role. Are there any projects that you could volunteer for? If not, ask your manager for opportunities where you can lead a project so you can make that impact on your team. Tell your manager that you want to take on more responsibility and lead a project because you want to drive more results to your company. And your manager will be grateful that you're stepping up to the plate and they're going to see a lot of potential in you. To inspire you, Steve Jobs has this quote: "Most people never pick up the phone. Most people never even ask." And that's what separates, sometimes, the people that do things from the people that just dream about them. You gotta act and you gotta be willing to fail. From my experience working up the ladder to be a senior engineer and then pivoting to becoming an engineering project manager, one of the all-time biggest lessons that I've learned is that feelings of these doubts, fear and anxieties, they're all in our mind. If there's anything you take away from this video, I want to give you the permission to act, to take the initiative. Don't let fear or the feeling that you're not good enough prevent you from taking action. Be proactive and get the experience that you need with leading projects so you can add it onto your resume. As we've been talking about it, it's very important that you update your resume so it reflects your project management experience. Luckily, I have a free template that you can use to tweak your project manager resume. Download it over at alvinthepm.com/resume template so you can be one step closer to landing your interview. All right, so my next tip is to showcase relevant skills that are applicable to the company and industry that you're applying for. Not every company is the same, and every industry has its own unique keywords and skill sets. However, there are certain skills that are 100% transferable regardless of jobs that you've had in the past. Things like leadership, being a strong communicator, knowing how to manage conflict, and leading a team to solve problems. All of this sounds like common sense, right? Like, ooh, Alvin, what's so fancy about that? But you'd be surprised how all of this actually relates to what we do as project managers. During your interview, these are traits that the hiring manager looks for in candidates that they want to hire. Believe it or not, they're trying to piece together how you as a person have skills that can help lead their teams to success. Have you actually had experience managing a project from start to finish? Have you had an instant where a project went off track and you had to figure out ways to steer it back on track so you'd be successful? What if I asked you this question? Tell me about a time when there were issues on your project. How did you resolve it? You answer those questions by telling your stories. Let me repeat that one more time. You tell stories, not a list of your day-to-day responsibilities. Don't just say something like, I worked at company A
as a data analyst where I spent most of my time analyzing data with Excel and Tableau. On one of my projects, I created reports that was reported up to senior leadership.
Please do not do that. You want to tell actual stories so you can captivate and pull them in, so they start to believe that you're the best fit for that position. Tell stories of how you guided your team through certain issues. At the end of it, you came out a huge success. I actually recently had date night with my wife, and we watched a movie called The Peanut Butter Falcon with Shia LaBeouf. I had zero expectations, but 10 minutes into the film, I was already feeling the story. I could feel the experience and understand the heart of each character. It's a very heartwarming film with such a great story, and I highly recommend watching it if you haven't seen it yet. So going back to our topic, just how a movie can captivate us with a story, we want to do the same thing with our interviews. We want to pull them right in, captivate the hiring manager and the people who are interviewing us with our stories. Let me give you an example from my experience. When I worked as an engineer, I had led quite a few of my projects where I worked with a team to improve and streamline processes and make things more efficient. So in my interviews, I talked about specific experiences where I led our team through different stages in our project, from brainstorming ideas to actually implementing them on the manufacturing floor. But I didn't just stop there. I talked about issues we experienced, like our test failing, not meeting our acceptance criteria. I talked about how we solved those problems. And because of all the work we did, we took our operations from this baseline A to now this new and improved level B. Keep in mind, I didn't focus heavily on the technical side, but more on the leadership and project management side of things. And guess what? I'm completely confident that you can do the same thing with your past experiences. My question to you is, have you done anything like this before where you showed that you were a leader, that you took action, that you figured out how to lead a team to solve problems? If you have, that's something that you need to bring up during your interview. You got this, and I 100% absolutely believe in you. If you're looking to apply to project manager jobs, you also need to know the career roadmap of a project manager. Please watch this video next, and I'll see you in the next video.